What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Leighton's Loft. We are here. Well, I'm J5. Here with me is Lou. Smooth. Was it Soothing Lou? That's right.
Soothing Lou, yeah. Sweet Lou from Lou Pinella. Get that one a lot.
Yeah. What's up, buddy? How are you?
Actually, the real nickname is Tude.
Tude.
Yeah, because there's a meteorologist here in the Boston area, or used to be, called Altitude Lou. And my buddy just changed it to Attitude Lou, so got to add an attitude. So it just got Tude.
Yeah. I like that. Leighton would be right in the studio any second, any minute. He went to get something real quick. What's up, Brandon? Welcome.
Jeremy, Ian, welcome.
Yes. Hello.
Ian was here at 12:30.
Oh.
He checked in and left a comment at 12:30. So he's been waiting for us. So I like Dennis, Joseph.
Very nice. Hello. Welcome, guys. Welcome. I'm sure we're going to do some sort of giveaway. So Lou will be keeping track of single unique entries, guys. All you got to do is put something here in the chat. Like, let us know how you're doing. Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are. So how long is Otani going to torture Trout over how the WBC ended?
I was expecting at the intros last. Did you watch the game last night?
I did not.
Oh, it was a pretty good game. The World Baseball Classic has been awesome. And it came down to Otani pitching for Japan against Trout for the U.S. at the end of the game, a 3-2 game. And he struck him out. And he struck him out with just this amazing slider at the end. It was just awesome. But I was expecting them to kind of embrace or acknowledge each other during the introductions. The two teams marched down. Otani had the flag for Japan and Trout had the flag for the United States. I thought they'd say something to each other. But Otani is just unbelievable. I mean,
yeah, no. I think his value in his rookie card is just keep going up. It just keeps going up.
Wait until, and this is a real possibility right now, wait until he wins the Cy and the MVP this year, and then goes makes $600 million for the Yankees, playing for the Yankees. Yeah.
Yes. Please, contact Yankees. We'll pay you.
It's going to be a hell of a bidding war between you guys and the Mets. I think it's going to be an amazing bidding war. And the Dodgers will get involved too.
Oh, I don't want the Dodgers to get involved.
He'll probably going to want to stay on the West Coast, but who knows?
Yeah, no. I'm okay if the Mets get him. I'm okay with that.
Okay. Are you one of those foot on either side, Mets and Yankees? I thought that was impossible.
I don't hate the Mets. I don't like they're fine. The Yankees, different story. Like, I prefer to have the best player available so we can actually win your World Series again.
Yep.
Well, Tony, it's the best player in baseball, says Preston. The gap is quite large at this point.
Yeah. I mean, there's just not much to say at this point. He's incredible.
Yeah.
That's here. Hi, Chef.
Okay, Leighton is here. All right, so I was just the opening act, guys. I know we're live. Leighton is ready.
You had to finish talking to Sam?
I think I want to bring you something to show Lou today.
What's that?
The collection came in. So just get a little.
Did we buy it?
Little preview.
All right. Well, it's juicy. That's for sure.
Yeah. So first eyes today on the show. All right.
On this show, really?
I like that when you showed it to me, you were like, "And this is just the mantle." Here's a nice collection, or it is a nice collection. Oh, did I have that water there? Yes. Hey, Lou, how are you?
Leighton, what's going on?
Not too much. Our good buddy Tom and Rico say hi. I was on their show yesterday for a few minutes.
Mm-hmm. Excellent.
And so we were talking about a couple fun things in our world. One of them, hey, what's up, Chef? Tyler, Preston, CB, rest of the gang. Thanks for tuning into Leighton's Loft today. What's up, Nick? And we ended up talking about, we're very proud, I'm going to give you the date, that we struck a deal with REA, Robert Edward Auctions, and we're having another pop-up event in our store, but it's the first time we're having a pop-up event, Lou, with an auction house.
Ooh.
So it's going to be April 13th and April 14th
Okay.
at our store here in Millburn, New Jersey, at 296 Millburn Ave, Suite 102, approximately 4 to 9 o'clock each of those 2 days. And what's really cool, Lou, is that, REA, for example, they're not open to the public.
Right.
And if you want to preview their auction, like I've done that, but you have to set up an appointment and they can only handle so many people at once.
Oh, really? Okay.
So this is going to be really the first time that they're going to be doing something like this off premises, where they're going to be bringing a few $1 million worth of cards and high-end memorabilia that are going to be in their auction. And they're going to be showing them off to our Just Collect Vintage Breaks and, of course, the Millburn community right here in Millburn, New Jersey on April 13th and 14th.
Oh, I can't wait to see what shows up. That ought to be great.
I'm really excited for, if you will, like average Joe collector, right? Because if you're average Joe collector, you're walking into a store, and we have some cool stuff in our store, really do.
Yep.
But you're not going to see auction house caliber material unless you go to REA, you go to Heritage, you go to Mile High, you go to Memory Lane. And let's be honest, unless you do this full time, most people are not going to auction houses to preview. Best case is they're calling up that auction house. They're asking for images or additional scans to come via email. It's never the same as seeing it in person.
Yeah, it's going to be and just being right there in the same room with some of that memorabilia is going to be great, because that's when the fun starts.
Yeah, people are going to be able to take pictures.
Yep.
Of course, if you want to sign up for REA, you'll be able to do that on the spot. If you want to bid, you want to ask about upcoming auctions, how their consignment process works. You'll be able to do all of that with PJ, Brian, and the rest of the REA team. And like I said, if you're in the area, stop on by, because it's going to be a lot of fun. And there's also going to be free food and drinks. And of course, we're hoping that, some of the Breaking Maniacs from our community come down, and, maybe we'll do some on-air stuff, because I'm planning to take maybe a few of the choice items and bringing it to Leighton's Loft that day, or that week, and then trading card therapy that day. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun, Lou.
Yes, that's a must. We got to see some of the stuff here in the Loft.
Absolutely. So what's going on, Jeremy, Dennis? Appreciate everyone tuning in today. What's up, Brandon and Joe?
Andrew, is Andrew new? Andrew, nice to see you.
For those that are new, we are here every Wednesday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. FYI, Pank's coming in soon. He might come in when I'm on air. So if he comes in with his stuff, start looking at it. Okay. Now, we didn't buy this yet, right? Okay. So this is kind of fun. This is what's always great about Leighton's Loft. It's very impromptu. So this is a collection. How many cards total are in the collection? You got to say thousands? 5,000?
Yeah.
I'm like, because I just imagine 5,000 Mickey Mouse. I'm like, Lou, I got to go.
No, that's not going to happen. Wow, what the dollar amount would be on that? Jeez, 5,000 Mickey Mantles.
Hey, Jim. I wish you did live closer as well. We'd see a lot more. CB, I don't know if I did. If I did, maybe I got it in my spam, but I'll check again, Chris. So right here, it's this one right here, right?
Down. There. Down. No, it's that button. That's the one I want to set.
Here?
Try that. There you go.
Okay.
And then Lou has to switch.
Okay. So, Lou, this is the first true look, and I've not seen all these either. I saw a couple of these.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the first true look. Do you know where the collection came from? Virginia. Okay. So they mailed it in. They did not drop it off.
Mm-hmm.
Were these mantles in sheets? How was it? Or they were just loose in
They were all in binder sleeves.
Binders. Okay. So what we did was we took out apparently a bunch of the stars to evaluate or start evaluating the collection to see what we can offer. This is my first look at this bigger bulk. I have seen some of the mantles, but I was impressed by the quality. There's not necessarily anything in high grade, although this 57, I got to be honest, like dead nut centered, and even though a little bit of corner wear, nice looking card.
Yep, and a little bit of tint, but still nice.
All right.
How many mantles are we talking about? You keep
I don't know, but
multiple mantles. Good Lord.
Wow.
Well, if you're going to hoard something, might as well be mantle cards.
So 665 mantles. I don't know the last time someone had 665 mantles. Wait a minute, excuse me, 6, maybe 7, 8? What? No, this is gross. Are you kidding me? 965 mantles? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Dear Christmas. There is 9 65 Mantles in one deal.
Okay, so
Now,
there's one in there that's really miscut. At a certain point, does it become interesting if it's severely miscut?
Oh, I thought you were going to say at some point does it become a different player?
No. Well, no, can become a split.
Some people do collect miscut cards, Lou. Excellent question. How cool is this, right? And I appreciate this just from purely being a card geek and, understanding that like seeing 9 65 Mantles, regardless of condition, in one collection is not regular.
Just walked in your door today. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Shipped in the door, to be fair.
Yeah, shipped in the door.
Did you do video of the whole opening? Good. All right. All right. So
this begs the question I always have to ask: how much more of this stuff is out there? I mean, it seems like an endless sea of this stuff.
Sometimes it feels like that, but what I often say is, I feel like, it's when it rains, it pours.
Yeah.
So it's like, listen, I'm not a big gambler, but when you go and you gamble and you play craps or you play roulette or blackjack, doesn't it feel to be like it rains, it pours?
Yep.
But when it's cold, it's like really cold, like ice cold, like Antarctica. J5 shaking his head. I'm like, yeah, he's the mush.
Same probabilities every spin, but
it doesn't feel like that.
It doesn't feel like that. Nope.
All right, so I'm going to show off. I don't believe there's 9 of every year of Mantle. That would be absurd.
Steven's
but it was still cool.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to do 66 Mantles now. That one's not so hot, but there's 3 of those. It's cool. Couple 67s, 59.
Unbelievable.
56, 55.
I love the 56.
That one's not that good.
Yeah.
61, 62 Manager's Dream, 64. So why so many of the, wow, this is cool. See, like, this is very cool.
Yep.
There's just 567 errands. 6. Excuse me. I say 5. J5 says 6. I'm like, I think I can count. He's like, no, there's another one over there. Just like DJ Khaled said, and another one.
And another one.
So that's pretty cool. Well, this part of the collection I haven't seen, but it looks like you're taking out the Aarons, the Clementes, Mays. Oh, this is fun. 4 of those.
Mm-hmm.
165 Mays, but 965 Mantles. So crazy to me. Let's see if there's anything else interesting here.
Yeah, that's second.
What is that? Oh, okay.
All
right. Steven wants a Hank. You got one sold.
And I just grab a quarter.
So this is what J5 is saying hasn't been evaluated yet. He just grabbed them, whatever that means. Yeah, this is a cool collection in terms of content. Oh, there you go. So did he have Did he have a thing for the 65 Yankees? This is just stupid.
Yeah, why would you come up with that and not the others, right?
So he just said the highest count of cards in the collection, 65 tops. 65 tops, Whitey Ford. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 Whitey Fords. I mean, that's kind of silly.
Yeah. In a good way, though.
Yeah, in a good way, exactly. All right, let's see what else we got here. Well, I really hope we get this collection.
I was at Fenway one day when Killebrew was in, and he was in the batting cage, and he did this batting practice, and he put on a show, and like all the twins are around the cage, and they just started rattling the cage and making animal noises while he was hitting.
This is cool. So we got 3, 4 Joe Morgan rookies. Oh, I love the 65 Koufax. It's a really nice card.
Jim says 13 is bad luck. You may want to give one of those Fords away.
Yep, totally agree with you. We were in a hotel one time, and my son was asking me, he's like, Daddy, why don't they have a 13th floor? I'm like, oh, that's going to take a lot longer than the elevator ride.
Yep.
Yeah, Chef, I agree with you. Chef said if we don't buy them, at least sell the guy some card savers.
There you
go. Yeah, it's a lot of cards.
But they were in binders, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of cards. Thousands of cards. Looking forward to trying to close that deal. We'll certainly keep everybody posted. That's
now,
pretty
how
wild.
do you go about selling those? You sell them individually or?
I don't know. That's a lot of cards, Lou.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. Like, is it possible there's a 65 set? Like, could we make a set? Maybe that would be cool.
Fair enough.
If there's 9 of Mickey Mantle and the 13 Whitey Fords, seems like maybe a good thing to do. Next thing I wanted to do was show off. We're going to start doing graded card reveals on our new YouTube channel, Vintage Card TV. And the 2 cards that we have in mind were 2. I forgot the service level that we paid for these, but these weren't bulk.
Yep.
Gradings. They were the expedited and more expensive kinds. Chef, I have no doubt there'll be some gaggles from that if we're able to close that deal. So the first card I wanted to show off was a 1949 Bowman Satchel Paige. And I think it's appropriately graded a 1.5. And Lou, what I'm going to be doing with this segment on our new YouTube channel is talking about basically like what was I hoping for, what can I be doing before and after, and also like when it comes back to I think it's correctly graded and why. Yep. And so first thing I wanted to let everyone know is I love this card. 49 Bowman Satchel Paige is a favorite of mine. Agree with you, Todd. And so if you look, even though it's not too heavy, there's a crease running literally left to right across the center of the card.
Mm-hmm.
So my thinking was if I sent it to PSA, even though I thought it was a 1.5, I thought PSA could put this in a 1. So even though I can't prove it because I didn't grade it with PSA, I feel like SGC is a tad bit easier on slightly lower grade cards.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that it would be more likely I would get the 1.5 with SGC. And to be clear, at least the way that I understand grading, so this is just one man's opinion.
Yep.
But you have a crease right here. So when you have a crease, depending on the severity of the card, a wrinkle can be graded as high as a 4. But in general, if it's a crease,
Steven just being a pain.
Yeah. In general, if you see a crease, it's hard to get higher than a 3. And if there's a crease that breaks the paper, it's usually hard to get something higher than a 2. But when you have a crease that breaks the paper and it runs the length of the card, or the width of the card for that matter,
either left to right or right to left.
Either way,
yep.
Depending which the salmon are flowing down the river that day, and so I thought that it was a 1.5. So even though, of course, you're hoping for a 2, you're hoping for a 3, I actually did not send it to PSA because I didn't want a 1, and I didn't know if they would put it in a 1.5. And I didn't think SGC was going to put this in a 2. I thought they're going to put it in a 1.5. And that's what they did.
Is Bobby right? Is it tougher for companies to grade a 3 and below than a 7 and above?
It is tougher for companies to grade a 3 and below than a 7 and above. For me, it's not, Bobby, but I think for companies, it depends on who the people are that are grading the card. So, for example, Scotty Alpaw used to work here. He now's with PSA and their training program for people that are, trying to join PSA to grade cards. He would tell you that, if you threw in like black border beauties from like 71 tops and try to grade like 6s, 7s, and 8s, it's really hard to grade those. So I think if you like looked at modern cards and said, hey, try to figure out what an 8, 9, or 10 is, I think that's a little bit easier. But when you're talking about vintage 7s, 8s, and 9s, I don't think it's that easy.
Do you use your scouting on picking the company? For example, if you think you're going to get a 1.5 from SCG as opposed to PSA, would you go that way to get the extra half grade?
Oh, that's what I'm making it, Lou. That's what I'm trying to make clear today. Yeah. This is why I chose SGC.
Mm-hmm.
So I love those guys. They're both in the sunny states, meaning SGC is in Florida, PSA is in Cali. So I didn't choose it because one's in a sunnier state than another. However, I did think that there was a chance that PSA would put this in a 1. And I didn't think that SGC would. So because of that, I simply sent it to SGC.
Wow.
And it got the grade that I thought. So yes, you're right. Because of the acumen, if you will, that I have for grading cards. And this is what I'm going to be sharing on my YouTube channel, Lou, or our new YouTube channel, Vintage Card TV, is things like this that maybe the most basic collector doesn't know or realize, but we're trying to help people out. And also another thing is, and it didn't help in this instance, you'll see in a minute, I try to not only predict what my cards are going to grade, but I set up the packages in a way that I think will hopefully get the grades that I believe the cards are deserved of. But it's also a little bit easier when you step a grader who's looking at your cards through a set of grades, meaning like a 3, a 5, and a 6. If the cards are set up like that, they could see the difference in the grades. Therefore, even though you're saying, well, Leighton, there's standards, there are, but remember, they're just human beings. So I want them to have a frame of reference when they're looking through my cards so I can get the grades I appropriately deserve.
So in other words, you put an uglier girl next to you so you look prettier.
Something like that.
So you package the group together to try to
get the highest possible grade for each card.
Yeah. God.
So look what I did. Look what I did right here. This is a 2-card package. So you can now see the grade.
Yep.
But I sent this Willie Mays in, which if they wanted to really be like tough, they could have put it into a 1.5, and they did put it into a 2. I thought I had a chance, I thought I had a chance at something higher than a 2, but I put this behind the satchel. And the reason why I did is because I knew that this Willie Mays is absolutely a higher technical grade than the satchel. It's a higher actual grade. Yeah. And I was hoping that if they decided to put this in a 2, that they couldn't have put this in a 2. They would have put this at least in a 2.5. But if you look, it's not an accident. And I'm not saying that like I'm smarter than them. I'm just telling you I know my cards. Oh, so I thought this is a 1.5. I thought this Maze could grade a 2+, but nasty PD. So the old days of grading, this card grades a 4 PD. A 4 PD is equal to a 2. Then if you look at, I call this a pumpernickel. I don't know what the F this is. It's like a pumpernickel, right? I don't know if the guy put like it on a doorknob or a big pin, but it's nasty. It's ugly. It's like a wart. It's a pumpernickel wart on my 51 Bowman Maze. So I knew PSA would crush this card for the surface, which is why I didn't mess, around with PSA. And I candidly was hoping for like closer to the 2.5, 3. Agreed, Chef. But I did set it up with the satchel. And even though I do think that the Maze looks higher than a 2, I'm not convinced. And the reason why I'm letting you know this is because if I was convinced, I would crack it out and send it back to PSA.
Yep.
Or send it to PSA. I haven't sent it to PSA yet. So there is absolutely strategy when sending in your cards to the respective grading companies. And there's absolutely strategy when selecting which grading companies to send your cards to.
All right, we got several questions here. Nicholas asks, what's your opinion on buying authentic graded cards?
Can you be a little bit more specific?
Okay.
So in other words, is he buying a 33 Gowdy Ruth authentic because he can't afford a 1? Or you're just trying to buy an authentic graded cards because you're not sure which cards are real? I just wanted to understand a little bit better. Lou, I'm putting it back to the main.
Okay. Todd asks, does PSA and SGC treat tape marks the same in grading?
I believe PSA is more difficult than PSA is more difficult on tape than SGC. It used to be that PSA was absolutely more lenient on centering than SGC. I'm not sure if that's the case anymore. But I do believe that, if you understand the cards that you're having graded, at the very least, a wonderful exercise is to write down what you think your cards are going to grade and then see how you do when they come back. And then also use the different grading companies. I don't use Beckett as much because I don't grade a lot of modern. I do use ISA. I like them as well, even though they're kind of like a little bit newer. I think that their grading is reliable and I like the holder. And Chef is asking about, is a gum marked as same standards? I'm not sure exactly what Chef's asking, but I'll get back to Nick's question about authentic. So I do think that buying an authentic graded card, especially ones with great eye appeal, is a really fun way to collect if you're not hung up on the technical grade of your card.
Just want to own the card. Emotional value.
Yep. And the thing is, there's some cards that are small, that are trimmed, that someone tried to color, but yet they look really great. And if you don't care about the numerical grade for that card, I would try to buy the best eye appeal. And I think sometimes an authentic grade can do that.
Ian has a question. He asked if you can ask a question. By all means, type it up, Ian. We'll see if we can get to it. I think they're much. I think they're so much higher in grading vintage 30s to 70s. I don't understand because of how old and circulating in this world 50 to 90 years old. Tougher on grading the 30s to 70s. So you
I
got
think
older
that's what he's
cards. Why
saying.
are they so much tougher on cards? Because they've been circulating.
I don't think they're tougher. I think that they grade them the same. I just think that it's tough for some people to realize that a 2022 card can grade a 3 and a 1933 card can grade a 3. And even though, and I think this is really tough, when you see a card that's creased, especially if it's a modern card and it comes back 3, 4, or 5, let's say, got a wrinkle from PSA, but you look at those corners, they're mint. The reason why, the cards from yesteryear, like the Gaudis and such, don't look like that is because they've been handled a lot more. But that's kind of the point I was making about the authentic grade. If there's an authentic Gaudi that looks near mint, but is trimmed, or, someone added a piece of tape to the back, or someone tried to color it, I think there's a lot of value. I don't mean value like it's a good investment. I think it's just cool to be able to own like a Clemente rookie or a Babe Ruth 33 Gaudi at a fraction of what a high grade costs in an authentic holder, and you could still get a presentable example. I think it's a really fun way to collect.
Ian wants to know, who would you send a Beatles autograph to?
Say that again?
Who would you send a Beatles autograph to?
To get authenticated PSA.
Yeah.
Because I think I would sell for the most money. Although there is I forgot his name. There's a world-renowned Beatles expert that if I had like a 5-figure plus Beatles piece, and a lot of the Beatles pieces signed by all 4 are 5 figures, there's a world-renowned expert. I would try to get it double certed. And that's a good topic to talk about, Lou, for next week's episode, is double certification and when that's important for people. I wanted to cover 2 last topics before we run out of time for today's show. One, I'm going to be doing some live broadcasting next weekend from the Mint Collective, the conference out in Las Vegas. Look for some fun content coming from yours truly next weekend. I'll get there Thursday night, and I'll be doing some appraising with a collectible, the Fractional Share app, out of their booth at the convention. So if you're out there, stop on by, and if you're not, watch out for some interesting content coming your way.
Excellent. That's going to be fun. You get to hook up with Jimmy Garoppolo while you're out there.
If the Jets don't get Aaron Rodgers, most certainly. And then on the last note, this is not just about Just Collect and vintage breaks. This goes well beyond, this goes out to your local card store, to your school system, to your community, to the people you work with. Is positivity is where it's at, man. Please do yourself a favor, check yourself at the door, no matter what you're doing. Go to the bagel shop, right? Going to see your kid's teacher for a parent-teacher conference. You're going to your local deli. You're participating with your local breaker, either in person or online. It all matters, man. You don't know what's going on underneath for people. Yep. So please, make sure that you try to bring the positivity to whatever you're doing. You'll find that it's going to pay itself back to you many times over. And so that's how I wanted to close the show today. As my buddy Freddie used to say, who worked for Ringo Starr back in the day, peace and love, everybody. Peace and love.